Darth Vader is one of the most tragic characters in all of the Star Wars movies. Even more tragic than the
tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Welcome to Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, the character that we all know to be the biggest hater of sand. I'm going to be kind of talking about his story, talking about the Star Wars movies. If you're a Star Wars fan, I think that you should stick around till the end.
Are you an angel? What?
Anakin Skywalker, or Darth Vader, kind of begins his story in serious tragedy. We see him for the first time as a slave. His mom's a slave, he's a slave, he's literally does pod racing, which is like, he enjoys it, good for him. It is extremely dangerous for a child to be doing that. Qui-Gon comes, he sees him, and he wants to get him out. He sees this potential in him to fulfill this prophecy of being the chosen one, where he has got a destiny that's been determined for him beforehand, that he's going to bring balance to the Force. He's going to bring balance to the good and the bad of the Force. And Anakin as a person being super unstable is ripe for that in the worst kind of way.
Anakin will become a Jedi, I promise you.
Do not defy the Council, Master, not again.
I shall do what I must, Obi-Wan.
The Jedi are the good guys of the Force, but they're so politically motivated at this time. They're not in their heyday, they're very much at the decline, and they're extremely prideful and like conceited. Though we don't see that too much, that's like what has been stated over and over in like the other movies, or if you watch like the Clone Wars and stuff, you can see it more in detail. But the Jedi have this way that is less integrated and more severed. Like, to be good, you have to be severed from all this goodness of life. It's like a monastic lifestyle where you don't get to experience the joys of marriage, being one of them that Anakin breaks. Having attachments is a big thing. Qui-Gon, in the beginning, he thinks for himself more, and that's a quality that in the first movie, if you know anything about the really behind the scenes of what the Duel of the Fates, like the song, when it's Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon, it's literally the duel of the destiny of Anakin's character. In the moment of the final battle of the first movie, if Qui-Gon lives, Qui-Gon, as somebody who can think for himself, would be able to train Anakin in the proper mindset where he wouldn't be as easily manipulated into the darkness because of the character flaws that he has. When Qui-Gon dies, he loses that opportunity to live the path of mostly light. As the second and third movie go on, you know, we know in the second movie that his mother dies, as Anakin gets a really strong attachment for Padme and he gets married to her. Anakin is, in this movie, just extremely unstable. He is emotionally ungrounded. He is kind of creepy, honestly, like in his fixation for Padme. It's very strange. It doesn't seem like really strong love. It's more just like an obsession. And when Anakin gets married, it's awesome. It's an awesome thing. But he's really not set up for success in his life. And throughout the entirety of these movies, he's been groomed by Chancellor Palpatine, who can see this emotional instability and knows how to leverage it in the right ways and will leverage it at the proper time. Anakin doesn't have the tools and he doesn't have the security in his community, in his, relationships with even the Jedi, to be able to pass through the manipulations of Palpatine without falling. And one of it is because of the Jedi's rigid structures that are not set up to support somebody in this kind of area of need, which is dealing with attachment and dealing with love. So Anakin is really vulnerable. And in the third movie, he gets older, he gets more powerful, and with just the proper tweak, he is leveraged from being a really strong Jedi Knight to just this horrible, evil being that is willing to do the worst things for, in his mind, the right reasons, which is to save Padme. This is a tragedy. Like, we all know, the third movie, it is not a happy ending. And man, it's sad. It's sad. It's sad especially for Obi-Wan's character. And I think Ewan McGregor did such an amazing job of conveying that with the lack of experience that we've had with their characters. The final scene on Mustafar where they're like fighting it out and he's like really hurt. Obi-Wan did fail him. Like, Obi-Wan was not able to train him how Qui-Gon would have been able to train him. Anakin ended up making the wrong choices and ended up what Obi-Wan thought was to be killed at that moment. But the thing is, the Force in this movie had its own agenda, and the Force as a deity in Star Wars is both good and bad. It's taken mostly from like yin and yang, so it can choose good as much as it can choose bad. It takes Anakin down this path where he's still fulfilling the prophecy of being the chosen one, but he's doing it through the slaughter of the Jedi. They get absolutely wiped out, and so that arrogance leaves, that it gets like cleansed in a terrible way, in a horrific way, by just absolute slaughter. So Anakin does bring that balance in that sense, but then he goes on to lead this life of just darkness. The birth of Anakin's tortured soul is Darth Vader. One of the saddest parts is that Anakin, or Vader, he never really amounts to anything in his life. He exists to serve one purpose, and it's to fulfill this prophecy. He exists to bring balance to the Force, and this could have just been the first stepping stone for a life of higher accomplishments, of higher achievements, but instead he is capped at this ultimate predestined thing, and the majority of it, in a sense of real morality, it's horrible. And this is when the story starts to shift, because there's still a little bit of goodness left in the story, and it's found in his kids. It's Luke and Leia that get to grow up and become their own people, have their own mentors, and start to choose a path of good, a path of light. When the original trilogy opens, Darth Vader is just a lackey for the Emperor. Like, in those movies, especially the fourth one, he's just a bad guy. You know, you don't see all of the nuance that you've come to know through the other films or just through, you know, the TV shows or whatever. He's just a bad guy. In the fifth one, they start to bring more depth out of him. You get to see that he's really trying to chase after power. He's really trying to chase after greatness, that this is the best way because it's the most powerful. And, you know, he's trying to entice his son, obviously, to come. It reveals that he's his son. But the sixth movie is when we really get to see a lot more development in his character, and it's kind of the closing of this arc where Darth Vader has lived a whole life of really failure, of moral failure. He knows it's too late for him. And you have this conversation with him in the sixth movie when Luke surrenders himself to the Empire, and Darth Vader and Luke kind of finally have this heart-to-heart. Vader opens up for the first time in all of the original trilogy about where he stands, and even the slight possibility that he even wants something different. And he tells Luke, he's like, it's too late for someone like me. But in that, you see that there's this hint that it's like, maybe he's thought about the possibility of redemption. Like, maybe he is locked into, you know, this relationship with the Emperor, and there's just nobody else to say, hey, I see a way for you to choose goodness again, because he's killed everybody else. The act of surrender that looks so weak, it looks so pitiable and so small, it's the greatest thing that has been seen in all of Star Wars. More powerful than the empire that has been built through blood and murder and betrayal. It's more powerful than the greatest accomplishment of evil. The small act of surrender that Darth Vader witnesses is the thing that breaks free the man who is shackled by this robotic suit. It's the act that breaks free this person who has devoted himself to the deepest darkness of the universe, and it gives him this opportunity for redemption, and he chooses it. Darth Vader finally gets to the other side of this rabbit hole that he goes down that has been his entire life. And unfortunately for him, it's the very last decision he can make. He gets his redemption, he gets his light side benefits of afterlife, but he doesn't have any more time. It fulfills the prophecy, that he had spoken over him, which was that he would bring balance to the Force. Well, he did. He wiped out the arrogant good, and he also obliterated the wicked evil. What was left with this clean slate, this flat line where now you get to decide which way do you want the pendulum to swing. The Emperor's plan for Vader was that Luke would kill Vader. Darth Vader was giving everything he had to evil, and evil was going to throw it into nothingness. It was going to amount to nothing. Like, Darth Vader almost didn't have the choice to choose redemption. He was almost brought to the end of his life where if the pattern would have continued and Luke would have chosen evil, Darth Vader would have never gotten the opportunity for redemption. But because Luke chose surrender and sacrifice, it opened the door for Darth Vader to choose that as well. Darth Vader is the most tragic character in all of Star Wars, but even the most tragic characters can find redemption through the belief and sacrifice of those closest to them. Maybe they can even find peace. That is all from this video. I'll see you in the next one.
Jack the Man!
Thank you so much for watching. My name is Jack McIntyre. I'm a writer, filmmaker, and storyteller. I believe that films are meant to mean more than just quick entertainment, but really to serve others through grounded storytelling and universal truths. If you'd like to support this vision, consider subscribing, hit that button below. But also, I have a video that you might enjoy that's right up here. It's about how Kung Fu Panda is not Poe's movie, it's Shifu's. And in the video, I delve into a lot of the philosophy of the movie and some really mature insights and themes and the story, and I think you guys would really enjoy it. So don't be afraid, click right there. But take care, y'all. See you around.